Is this finally the moment the entire Lee Andrews story completely collapses? Because tonight, this saga has taken another astonishing turn. Lee Andrews is now reportedly an official missing person. A report has apparently been filed. Authorities in Dubai are allegedly unable to locate him. And Katie Price says she fears something really serious has happened. But here's the problem. After weeks of airport drama, contradictory stories, live TV humiliation, and increasingly bizarre twists, huge numbers of people no longer know what to believe anymore. More on that in a moment. But honestly, this story has now escalated so dramatically that many viewers are starting to ask whether Katie Price herself is trapped inside a situation that has spiraled completely beyond reality. Because let's remember how all of this started. Lee Andrews was supposed to fly to England to join Katie Price for their first joint live television interview on Good Morning Britain. That was meant to be the big moment. The moment they silenced critics. The moment they proved the doubters wrong. Instead, Katie sat there alone while her husband mysteriously failed to appear. And since that moment, everything has spiraled deeper and deeper into chaos. Airport videos, travel ban rumors, missing flights, emotional podcast meltdowns, the missing wedding ring, the dramatic reconciliations, kidnapping fears, and now, suddenly, an official missing persons report. If you want explosive celebrity stories that go beyond the headlines, subscribe now, because this Katie Price and Lee Andrews saga has become one of the most unbelievable celebrity stories unfolding anywhere right now. According to the latest reports, nobody has heard from Lee Andrews since Wednesday night. Katie says his phone location disappeared. She says messages stopped delivering. She says authorities cannot locate him. And most dramatically of all, she claims their final FaceTime call showed Lee panicking inside what she described as an old van with his hands tied. Those claims alone have left the internet completely stunned, because at this point, even people who follow celebrity chaos every single day are struggling to process how extreme this story has become. And unfortunately for Katie, there is now another major problem: credibility. Because after weeks of public contradictions surrounding Lee Andrews, enormous numbers of people online simply do not trust the situation anymore. That may sound harsh, but it is the reality tonight. Every new chapter somehow feels even more unbelievable than the last. And audiences are increasingly asking whether they are watching a genuine crisis or a relationship trapped in nonstop public theater. Especially because this latest disappearance story arrives after weeks of growing scrutiny around Lee Andrews himself. Questions about his business claims? Questions about his past? Questions about alleged false claims on his CV, which he blamed on a former assistant? Questions about organizations reportedly denying any affiliation with him? And perhaps most damaging of all, questions about whether the airport drama had happened before. Because tonight, one of Lee Andrews' former partners is claiming he pulled similar airport stunts during their relationship too. That detail has completely changed how many people are viewing this latest situation. Because according to reports, his ex shared old screenshots and videos allegedly showing Lee making similar claims about traveling before ultimately not arriving. And honestly, that revelation has intensified public skepticism massively. Because people are now asking a brutal question. Has Katie Price become trapped inside the exact same pattern other women already experienced? That question is everywhere tonight. Especially because Katie herself has repeatedly admitted things look weird. She admitted Lee made her look foolish publicly. She admitted she understood why people questioned the situation. Those admissions matter now because they completely change how audiences interpret every new twist. And unfortunately for Katie, this latest twist may be the hardest one yet for the public to accept at face value. There's another uncomfortable detail too. Katie reportedly insists she is mortified. People think this could be a publicity stunt. And to be fair, if she genuinely believes Lee Andrews is in danger, that would obviously be deeply distressing. Nobody wants anybody harmed. And there is absolutely no confirmed evidence tonight explaining what has happened to Lee Andrews. But the reason public reaction has become so divided is because the entire relationship has already become associated with constant confusion and dramatic escalation. That is the real issue now. Every explanation seems followed by another contradiction. Every reassurance somehow fuels more suspicion. And every new chapter becomes even stranger than the last. Just think about the timeline. Katie meets Lee. He proposes after days. They marry almost immediately. Then come the billionaire claims, the Dubai luxury lifestyle, the Good Morning Britain humiliation, the airport mysteries, the travel ban rumors he strongly denies, the emotional podcast breakdowns, the missing wedding ring, the sudden reconciliation posts, and now, a missing persons investigation. Honestly, if this was a scripted television drama, viewers would probably complain it was becoming too unrealistic. That is how surreal the situation now feels to many people watching it unfold. And perhaps the saddest part is this. Katie Price increasingly looks emotionally exhausted by the entire thing. You can hear it in her voice. You can see it in her reactions. Because this is no longer simple celebrity gossip. This is constant emotional chaos playing out publicly in real time. And some people now believe Katie herself may not fully know what reality looks like inside this relationship anymore. One moment she is furious with Lee Andrews. The next, she is defending him completely. One moment, she removes her wedding ring. The next, she calls him the love she has always deserved. Now, suddenly, she fears he may have been kidnapped. The emotional swings are becoming more dramatic week by week. And viewers are starting to wonder how much more chaos Katie can actually handle before something finally breaks completely. There is another major reason this latest development feels so explosive too. The timing. Katie recently gave Lee what sounded very much like an ultimatum publicly. She openly said he needed to get to England and explain himself properly. She admitted she could not keep flying endlessly to Dubai, and she openly demanded answers. Now suddenly, just as pressure around him intensified more than ever, he disappears completely. That timing has inevitably fueled huge speculation online. Again, there is no confirmed explanation tonight, but public trust surrounding this story is now incredibly fragile. And unfortunately for Katie, every new dramatic escalation seems to make skepticism even stronger. Still, tonight Katie insists this is serious. She says authorities are involved. She says Lee Andrews cannot be located. And she says she genuinely fears something terrible may have happened. But until clear answers finally emerge, one uncomfortable reality remains unavoidable. A huge number of viewers simply no longer know what to believe anymore. And honestly, that may be the clearest sign yet that this relationship has descended into total chaos. Because when every new chapter sounds more unbelievable than the last, eventually the entire story itself starts collapsing under the weight of its own drama. Subscribe for more breaking celebrity stories and updates, because this Katie Price and Lee Andrews saga appears to be escalating faster and stranger than ever before.